Now we got Sunday night football with the Detroit Lions traveling to Arrowhead to face a wounded Kansas City Chiefs team. And if this isn't a spot where the Lions are going to try and take advantage of a Chiefs team that appears to be in disarray, I'd be shocked because the Lions look like one of the best teams in football right now, and the Chiefs look like one of the most overrated teams at this moment. So I have a feeling that most of us are going to be rolling with the Lions in this one, but tell me if I'm wrong. Christian, where are you leaning on this?
Yeah, Lions all day. I guess I'm looking forward. I'm always looking forward to watching the one-on-one matchup between Amon-Ra St. Brown and Trent McDuffie. Uh, so that'll be a fun matchup. But beyond that, I think the Detroit Lions are just a better football team right now. Um, they're going to control the line of scrimmage. For the Chiefs to have a chance, they're going to have to go back to 2019 Kansas City, like the Detroit defense on fire. I just don't see that happening. Um, I think it's going to be a tough day. And ultimately, you're going to have to look back at the way you handled this roster this offseason, I think, and realize that maybe paying Nick Bolton was the wrong decision. Losing Jay Reed, maybe a bad decision. Not bringing in another starting caliber cornerback, bad decision. And the offense is a work in progress. I still love the offense, especially when Rashee Rice comes back. Hopefully that's next week. I believe it's going to be next week. But, man, this defense looks like a shell of itself. And the Lions, they look like the same old Lions, best offense in the NFL right now. So I'm going to go with the Lions to blow out the Kansas City Chiefs.
Mike, what are your thoughts on this one?
I got the Lions too at 2.5, and I took a money line. I think there's going to be concern though. I mean, both their corners are out. They got your nickel playing corner for the Lions. It's just, I mean, the injury bug is hitting them like it is, just about every team. But I mean, the Chiefs are not a good football team right now. The Lions are going to be coming off a bye. Chiefs just lost that game. Lions are going to have fresh legs. It really does seem like, I mean, I don't see how Kansas City is going to be able to, first off, stop.
Wait, correct it real quick. They smashed the Cincinnati Bengals.
They did destroy the Cincinnati Bengals.
Quasi-bye.
Who?
The Lions.
The Lions.
Yeah. No, I'm saying the Chiefs with the Jags.
Oh, I thought you said the Lion. There was no bye. You said the Lions are coming off a bye.
Oh no, my apologies. Yeah,
it might as well be
quasi-bye.
It might as well. Yeah, it
like
might as well be
game.
a fucking bye. Yeah.
Might as well be a fucking bye. It's Christian. No, I mean I like the Lions in this one to cover and win outright. Defensively, I think they'll be able to throw fits at that Chiefs offensive line. I mean, it's Trey Smith, right? I mean, he's getting flagged every single game for a false start penalty. Things look out of sorts in Kansas City. It looks like it's crumbling in front of them. They're going to be playing desperate, and that can lead to mistake-prone football against this Lions defense. I think the offense continues to hum. Christian said Amon-Ra St. Brown has looked fantastic. Jared Goff looks great. Jared Goff looks like midseason Jared Goff from last year. The running game looks fantastic. Both Montgomery and Gibbs have been able to contribute. So, I mean, just with the push, I think they're going to be able to get in the trenches. And probably, if we're just being blunt about it, better quarterback play and a better defense. I got the Lions. If you're going to get 1.5 points, give me the Lions.
God, it's crazy that we're talking about Patrick Mahomes in this way, where we just dispositively can say that he's not the better quarterback between him and Jared Goff. But here we are. The Lions have looked that good so far this season, and the Chiefs have looked that bad. The Turtle, where's your head at with this one?
Guys, I objectively speaking, I agree with everything that you're saying, but I'm going to go against the grain and I'm going to go with Kansas City, largely because they're not on the road, they're at home. Listen, maybe you can consider this a buy low spot. I'm not sure, but the spread's already leaked out to almost 2, 1.5 in spots, and we're sitting here and we're talking about how great the Lions are, and I agree. The Lions are probably, if you want to say, they're probably up there with Buffalo, I guess, still as the best Super Bowl contender right now in the NFL. And the Chiefs have looked awful. Now, if that was the case, I am astounded at the fact that the Chiefs are favored right now in this football game. And that makes me think that I'm missing something. Because if you look at everything, that I don't think the Chiefs should be favored in this football game. And yet here they are laying 2 points. It's a fish line. I'm going to take Kansas City at home to bounce back. I love the Lions on offense. And honestly, I think if you wanted to do another teaser and maybe tease the Lions down to plus 6.5, plus 7, and then take that and then move the total down to like a 42-43, just because I think both offenses are going to have some semblance of success in this game. I could get behind that for sure. I just think this is a fish line. I think Kansas City going back home, knowing they need this football game. I actually think that betting them under a field goal is again, it's going against the grain, but I think it's the smart thing to do. So I'll take Kansas City. I'll take Kansas City at -2 right now, and I'll rock with that. Again, it's. I agree with everything you're saying about the Lions. I think the Lions are an incredible football team. I think that they'll probably let last year's playoff loss eat their crow. I think they'll be around in January and possibly February, but I for this specific week, I feel like I'm missing something. I think that the Lions probably should be favored, and yet they're not. And so I'll take Kansas City. I think it's a total fish line, and something's up. Something is up. So give me Kansas City.
I like the way you're thinking, Turtle. I mean, I think that there's definitely some questions here with how this line is sitting at with the Lions as underdogs, with how dominant they've looked throughout this season and how
they're
shaky
4-1 against the
looked.
spread. They're 4-1 against the spread this year too. Like almost every metric you look at just screams Lions, and yet the market is saying that these are even football teams on a neutral. And I don't think through 5 weeks that could be farther from the truth. So I again, I see your point with the Lions. I think that if you're a value better, like the Lions make a lot of sense. And again, if you wanted to take a teaser of some sort with the Lions, I think that that's smart. Because I don't think the Chiefs are going to blow the Lions out, but I do that line is just fishy, and I can look nowhere other than Kansas City with that sort of line.
Yeah, I mean, I would love the over, especially if you think Kansas City is going to compete with them. I just think it's going to take a miraculous game out of Mahomes. He's going to have to score 3-4 touchdowns and throw 250, 275 plus yards.
And he hasn't done that yet.
We'll see.
Now the over is at 52.5 right now. It's just a high number, but I mean, I could easily see it getting there. But yeah, it's definitely a high number. I just the spread is just an interesting spread to me. And I just think I find it's a fish line, and when there's a fish line like that, it just goes to show that the books know something that I don't, and yeah, that just makes me lean Kansas City for sure. In fact, I'll probably take Kansas City. I'm more interested, since it's Tuesday. I'm more interested to see where this line goes from here, because if this leaks out to Kansas City -3, I think that would be nuts. And I don't know if it does. Maybe it comes back down to the middle. Like I have no idea where this line's going to go.
I just think the way it's getting bet, it's going to have to come come down. I mean, I think
You
that
think so?
yeah, I think that there's got to be so much money on the Lions right now, just based on everything we're saying, conventional wisdom. I am going to roll with the Lions in this one. I'm confidently going to pick them just based on how complete of a team they've looked like these past couple of weeks. I mean, the defense has been better than we could have imagined under Kelvin Shepard. The offense under Johnny Morton looks like it really hasn't missed a step outside of that Packers game week 1, which, you know, they've had new coordinators on both sides on the road. So it can be forgiven, the fact that they lost that game against the Packers in the way they did. But yeah, until I see the Lions really collapse, I'm going to be rolling with them in almost any game. Now, once we get to the playoffs and we're talking about Jared Goff in those big games, and this is going to feel like a playoff game, so there is something to that as well, where this is usually where Jared Goff finds a way to lay an egg. So we have to account for that as well. But I just think that the Lions have looked too complete for me to bet against them. So as underdogs, this feels like a no-brainer for me to go with the Lions in this one.
If you would have asked August, July, June, May, Pat and Christian if they'd be taking the Lions in this Chiefs-Lions game, oh my God, you guys ripped them a new one. Everything.
I'm going off of new information. I'm going off of what I've seen so far this season. Okay.
Yep.
Well, with the Lions, to be
It-
fair, I said the Lions could be the best team in the NFC North, even with Micah Parsons. So, I mean, I still think Detroit's a really damn good football team, and they still have to get healthy. I mean, they are not healthy from last year. No Aleem McNeil yet all year. Terrion Arnold obviously just went down, but honestly, he gets a lot of penalties. Amik Robinson has played really well. Avonte Maddox has played about as well as you could expect, and they still have a elite safety duo. And Aiden Hutchinson, praise God, he's healthy. I'm just happy to see him playing at an effective level. So all in all, they're still getting better, and I still think they're peaking. With Kansas City, it just seems like they're just defunct of talent.
Yeah.
And I can't believe I'm saying that about their secondary. For the longest time, they've had very capable players.
It's a fair point because it's a weird game because I feel like that the market right now is as if they're not pricing in the first 5 weeks of the year. It all comes down to how heavily do you weight the first 5 weeks of the year. Because if you think that these first 5 data points of the year is strong, then it's a no-brainer pick of the Lions, just based off the first 5 weeks. Because this line seems like this seems like a game of the year line from like July. Like if you told me that the line was 2.5 Chiefs in July, -2.5 against the Lions, I would have believed it. So again, how heavily do you weight the first 5 weeks of the season? And then obviously you factor in injuries and whatnot. But how heavily do you weight the first 5 weeks? It seems like you guys all think the first 5 weeks matter a lot in this game.
Going off what I've seen.
It's fair. It's not like this is a week 2 football game. Like if they said this was a week 2, make a lot of sense. I mean, Lions would be coming off that loss to the Packers. The Chiefs would be, I forgot what they did week 1, but it would make a lot of sense. But it's week 6 now. So
I mean,
I don't know.
What's the signature win for the Chiefs this year? Is it the Ravens? How good does that win look at this point?
It's doesn't look like a great win considering. I mean, we'll get to the Texans after this, but doesn't seem like that great of a win. They beat the Giants.
They beat the Giants in Texas Dart.
They lost close games to the Chargers and they lost a close game to the Eagles.
I'm pretty sure wasn't the Giants game still Russell Wilson too?
Yes, that was the final Russell Wilson game.
Yeah.
So
again, I don't know, interesting data points on Kansas City side because I mean the Chargers in week 1 I think were a much better team than the banged up Chargers that they are now, and the Eagles, for all their faults, probably we would all agree is a pretty good football team. Jacksonville, if we're waiting the first 5 weeks, pretty good football team that they lost to on the road. So, kind of a gauntlet of a schedule, other than I mean, obviously, the Baltimore game was a little bit of an anomaly, but Giants weak. But the other teams, they've played some pretty good teams this year. Kansas City has so far. I don't know. Interesting game, nevertheless.
Yeah, no, it's a great game for Sunday Night Football, and it just feels like Vegas hasn't given up on the Chiefs yet, right? I mean that they're assuming that
Well,
Patrick Mahomes and
That
Andy Reid will
offensive
be able to
line
click.
is a problem, dude.
the Chiefs are a huge public money team as well. Now, I don't know about now because obviously people have probably been betting on them for the first 5 weeks and they haven't performed well. I think the Lions might be maybe pro and Joe money might eventually be pouring in on the Lions.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. It's
I
going to be a
expect this
fun
line to
football-
move towards the Lions for sure.
Yeah.
I would think.
Well,
But
I
hey, if it doesn't,
it would
as you
take a-
said,
it would take a ton. It would take a ton to get to 3, but if it gets to 3, hell, I wouldn't blame anybody for buying the Lions to at a field goal if the price makes sense. But
any last minute thoughts on this one? Well, after a disappointing first 4 weeks of the season,